focus on me. Focus. Hey guys, so my crusty dusty self forgot to do an intro for this video, so this is thrift stores in Hong Kong that you need to go to. Let's go.
He was #1.
And Mee Gee has like a bunch of different locations around Hong Kong. They have one in TSD, Mong, Central, I think Causeway Bay as well, I might be wrong.
Divorce, babe, divorce.
But they have a lot of locations, and that's because they have a lot of clothes. Like, I mean, stacks on racks on stacks on racks of clothes. They have so much that's almost impossible to walk out without finding something you like. And that's one of the great points about it. Mee Gee, I would also say that it's the cheapest thrift store in Hong Kong. They have clothes, they have racks that you can buy for $5, you can get for $10, you just have to look through. And usually you might find something cool. I once found an Adidas yellow t-shirt for $5. Pretty cool, but you just have to look. It just takes a lot of time to look through a lot of racks. So when you go, just make sure you're mentally ready to be packed in a really tight space and to look through everything. Mee Gee is also a very local thrift store. They have a lot of options, but they specifically do really good sweater vests, I would say, leather jackets and branded bags and vintage looking items as well. And they do a really good job at keeping those in different sections so it's easier to find and locate through. However, when it comes to other clothes such as t-shirts or jeans or dresses, it's hard to sift through the number of racks there, but you just have to be mentally prepared and you're fine. And just as a side note, a side thrift store, Mee Gee also has a costume-based store in Mong. It's right next to their branch in Mong. It is solely focused on costumes and unique pieces that you wouldn't find in a normal thrift store. So that could include wigs, hats, boxing gloves, sport attire. Is just endless. So make sure to check that out when you go to the Mee Gee in Mong, because right next to it is the costuming store and you can find really cool stuff there too.
We got a #2.
So the second thrift store I'm going to be talking about is in Jordan, and it's TS Wholesale Outlet. Now this is a thrift store that many people don't know about in Hong Kong, and reason being it's not online anywhere. When you search up thrift stores in Hong Kong, you're never going to find this one, mainly because it's a wholesale outlet rather than a secondhand thrift store by definition. Either way, they do have a lot of great pieces, and pricing is not that far. You could find pieces from anywhere between 80 Hong Kong dollars to 200 Hong Kong dollars, and that's pretty much where they cap it off. The good thing about this store specifically is they have a fitting room, and that is so rare in Hong Kong thrift stores that you have no idea. It's so freaking rare to have fitting rooms in thrift stores. So I would definitely say keep an eye out for this thrift store because they do have that. They do have that option to try things on. Another thing that's really cool about this thrift store is that they have the sizes written on the label. So on each price tag they have either size small, medium, large, and it's pretty standard to size. But I would say that they do have fitting rooms, so even if you're not sure about it, you can always go try stuff on. I would say another good thing about this thrift store is that they have a lot of formal wear, weirdly. So they do have a lot of shirts, blazers, trousers, but mainly they have a lot of men's shirts. So if you're looking for those, trendy shirt pieces that you can put over a bikini or you can put over your swimsuit, I would definitely come here because they kind of have like those loose, flowy materials, so you can easily find one.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
The next one I'm going to be talking about is Salvation Army Family Store. Now, let's get this straight. When you search Salvation Army, you're probably gonna end up looking at a bunch of Salvation Army centers.
That's so upsetting.
When you want to be led to the thrift stores. So what you need to search is Salvation Army Family Store, because that's how it is here. For this video, I'm just gonna call it Salvation Army because it's easier. So Salvation Army, like Mee Gee, has a lot of different locations across Hong Kong, and they do have a lot of variety dependent on which location you go to, and that's because of how people would donate to that location. So in my experience, the Tsuen Wan branch has a lot more variety in terms of branded clothing compared to the Yau Ma Tei branch, but that just depends on the geographical structure of how Hong Kong is and how and where people donate their clothes. So it really depends on which location you go to. If you do have time, just go to a bunch of locations in one day and you can probably get through all of them. I would say that Salvation Army is a little on the pricier side compared to Mee Gee and the Jordan's store, and that's because they do have a lot more branded clothing. In terms of that, I mean, they have a lot of Zara, they have a lot of Forever 21, they have a lot of Topshop, and those kind of things obviously come with price. And the good thing about Salvation Army is it's not only for thrifting clothes, you can also thrift a lot of home goods in Salvation Army. Like, I've seen a lot of people thrift glasses and mugs and shoes and bags, backpacks, and I've also seen a lot of people thrift stuffed animals there, a lot of ukuleles, and some vinyl records too. So that's a good thing about Salvation Army, is that you can kind of thrift endlessly, and they have so much that you're probably gonna find something you like.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So the next one is Midwest Vintage, and this is a thrift store. This kind of flips the term thrift store to its head, because Midwest Vintage doesn't do secondhand clothing, but they are classified as a thrift store in Hong Kong, mainly because it's stuff that you cannot find anywhere else. Midwest Vintage actually imports their goods from America, so they do have a lot of those Americanized fashion brands, and you can always find a lot of Harley Davidsons there, a lot of band tees, and Midwest Vintage is usually the place for Hong Kong people that want to have that Americanized thrift store experience. Another thing Midwest does really well is refurbished clothing, so they do have a lot of sort of patterns and bandana styles that they mix together to create a new piece of clothing, which I think is really cool of them. So that's why it's classified as a thrift store in Hong Kong, because they do make their own clothing from other clothes. I think that's a really fun way to spice up your store or your closet in terms of customers, because it's a one-of-a-kind piece and no one else is gonna have them. Another good thing about Midwest is I would suggest only shopping in the sales section. It really depends on how much your budget is or how much you're willing to spend, but their sales sections are actually really good. They usually have like buy two get one free offers, and they're not that pricey when it comes to the sales sections. Their t-shirts can go for like 30 Hong Kong dollars to 60 Hong Kong dollars, which when you look at the bigger terms of it, if you're getting a band t-shirt for 30 Hong Kong dollars, you're gonna take it. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing about them. You're not gonna find their pieces anywhere else in Hong Kong. So that's quite unique to their thrift store. One thing I would suggest about Midwest is to go to the Fortress Hill store instead if you do have a lot of time. The Mong branch is on the smaller side, and they don't have a lot of variety compared to the Fortress Hill one, because the Fortress Hill one, their sale section is way bigger and you can actually go through the racks compared to the Mong one, where it's kind of cramped and everything's sort of really tight together. So if you do have time, just go to the Fortress Hill one. I think you'd probably have a greater chance of finding something you like there. But the Mong one is, out of convenience, a really good location and something you can stop by and stare at. So. And the last thrift store that I'm going to be talking about is kind of thrift center, and that's Argyle Centre in Mong. And Argyle Centre is what I would describe as just everything that you think of that you don't need, they're probably gonna have it. Everything that you want, they're gonna have it. So Argyle Centre is basically this 4-floored huge center in Mong. They sell everything from clothes to jewelry to contact lens to food to phone cases and technology and everything and more. This center is kind of the main hub for people that are really into trends or their fast fashion lifestyle and styles, and that's only because Argyle Centre kind of focuses on trends and all their clothes sort of change with the trend. The only thing I would say that pushes Argyle Centre really down on my scale is that they only have one size available, and that's true to most stores in that center, and that's the thing that really irks me about it. And it's not that they push this agenda on you of like one size fits all or anything. They straight up just tell you it's gonna fit or it's not gonna fit. So I do appreciate that, but I do think that they would benefit more by having more sizes available. It's really cute clothing, and sometimes my butt just can't fit in the pants. So it really depends on what size you are. Just take that into account before going in there, because you don't want to see a bunch of clothes that you wish you could fit into. You know what I mean? Like, you're fine the way you are, you're happy with where you are. Don't go into this center with a bad mentality, or you're gonna come out with a really bad one. So just stick to that, just keep that in mind and go with it, and sort of go in trying to take inspiration for what clothing could be coming up in the next trends. Another really cool thing about Argyle Centre is this is the only thrift store I would say that you can bargain in and freely bargain. What I mean by that is that everyone sort of bargains in the center, and while you walk around you're probably gonna hear a bunch of people being like, $20, no, $10, $15, okay, deal. Like that kind of thing is very well known in that center, and if you don't bargain, it's kind of a waste of your money, to be honest, because their markup is really high and shops kind of expect you to bargain. So just keep that in mind if you do go there and shop. It's open to bargain, it's not disrespectful, people just kind of push over it. Okay, so I'm hoping I didn't forget a lot of stuff. If I did, leave them in the comments below. What else you guys would like to see, and if you guys would like to see a part 2 of this thrift store video, because I might do that, because I do know a lot more thrift stores in Hong Kong. If you do go to these thrift stores, just have fun with it. Don't be afraid to experiment out of your comfort zone. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Someone keeps blocking my way.